If you're feeling frustrated because your gaming videos aren't getting the views, it could be because you're missing something important. In this video, I'll show you exactly what that is and how you can fix it. I'll be sharing a process that will help you make better gaming videos from start to finish, from better ideas to faster production and editing that will engage the audience. And by the end of this video, you'll have a solid understanding of what you need to do to make your story-based gaming videos stand out. But where do we start? I reached out to my friend Alan, an award-winning screenwriter. I wanted to pick his brain and get his insight on what gaming videos really need. What are gaming videos missing?
I think a lot of people pick up gaming channels and they think that it's just what it used to be. If you're just coming to it like straight off the bat now, then you're going to have to try and think of something new and unique. And the thing that is going to make your video unique is story. Everyone tells different stories in different ways, and that is going to be something that is going to take your videos from just playing a game and doing commentary into something that is going to really invest your audience, especially if you do it in the right way.
And what is the right way to tell a story? What are the bare bone basics that go into making a story?
So you've got a character who has a goal, but then they have something in the way of them being able to achieve that goal. And that's the conflict.
Okay, let's apply this to a specific gaming video idea. I want to create an Apex Legends video where I have to win a match, but I can only use Mozambique shotguns. In this story, I am the main character and my goal is to win a game in Apex Legends.
What's going to get in the way of Sam being able to achieve this? It's going to be the other players who are getting involved, who have more powerful weapons.
And to add some extra stakes to the story, I'm handicapped by the fact that I can only use the Mozambique. This will make the challenge more difficult and make the story more interesting.
Now, stakes are something that you can implement where there's kind of a forfeit at the end, why this character or creator needs to achieve this goal, because if they don't achieve said goal, something might happen.
Remember, it's not always necessary to create a challenge video. Simply providing value to your audience can be enough.
Now, value comes in the form of why people have clicked on your video in the first place. If someone's clicked on your video because they just want to see you have a bunch of fun with this challenge, then make it fun. Show them that this is going to be a funny video.
How important is emotion to a story?
I guess my question back to you is, how important is it that you connect with your audience? The more you want to connect to your audience, the more important the use of emotion is. If you can figure out what emotion you want your audience to go away with by the end of it, then you'll be able to go in with a plan as to how you're going to implement that. I think a lot of people think that they start streaming and then they take that VOD down, they either upload it straight to YouTube, they don't alter it in any way, or they just do a bunch of highlights. And the problem is you want them to stick around and be a loyal follower of your work. And the only way you're going to do that is by being a bit more proactive rather than being reactive all of the time.
Wait, be more proactive than reactive? What does that mean? Essentially, reactive content is when you start streaming or recording and just see what happens. Many streamers do this for the majority of their streams. They just record whatever happens during their stream and then use that footage to make their videos. On the other hand, proactive content is when you have a specific idea in mind before you start recording or streaming. You may have a checklist or a rough outline of the kind of content that you want to capture. For example, I know that I want to focus on using only Mozambique shotguns, so I'll be proactive in seeking out that weapon and using it throughout my games. Alright, now it's time to move on to production and to start capturing content for this video. And to make the recording process even easier, I'm going to use a few advanced production tips. The first thing I'll do is set up OBS to record the gameplay locally at the highest quality possible. To do this, I'll go to the settings, go to output and change the type from simple to advanced. From there, I'll set my stream quality to my preferred settings and then go to the recording tab. I set my recording format to MKV and then use the NVIDIA NVENC encoder. To maintain a consistent level of quality through the entire recording, I like to use CQP. It ranges from 0 to 30 with a lower number representing higher quality. Just be aware that using a lower number can take up a lot of hard drive space. I usually set it to around 16 or 17, but feel free to experiment and see what works best for you. Just don't stream with it because that would be very bad. Now let's talk about audio. This is a very common challenge for a lot of creators, especially streamers. Most will just download or record their stream with a single audio channel, which isn't very flexible during the editing process. Instead, I like to set up OBS to record multi-track audio. I'll add all the audio sources that I want to capture, like my desktop audio, Discord, and microphone, and then go to the advanced audio settings. From there, I'll assign each of my audio inputs to a separate track. For example, I'll put my microphone on track 1, Discord on track 2, and so on. I'll also make sure to keep track 1 as my stream track, and then take all of the sources that I want to include in the stream. Finally, I'll go to the settings, choose the output option, and then make sure my streaming track is set to track 1, and my recording tracks are all ticked. Now, while we're setting up OBS, let's talk about the replay buffer. The replay buffer is a really handy tool that lets you save the last few minutes of your recording as a separate clip. To set it up, go to Settings, go to the Output tab, and then click on Replay Buffer. From there, you can specify how much time you want to save. For example, if you set it to 5 minutes, whenever you hit the Save Buffer button, it will save the last 5 minutes of your recording as a separate clip. This can be really useful if you only want to capture certain content, but make sure you're quick to hit the Save Buffer button to keep the footage that you want. To make this process even easier, we're going to be setting up a workflow using the Stream Deck by Elgato, the sponsor of today's video. One of the things that I really love about the Stream Deck is that it allows you to capture content easier and faster. With the Stream Deck, you have access to all of your favorite tools and actions at the push of a button. No more fumbling around with multiple programs and keyboard shortcuts. For example, I can drag a Save Buffer action to my Stream Deck to allow me to capture and save moments easily and quickly. By doing this, I can be more efficient with my time and create content faster, and it's something that I do all the time. And with the new Stream Deck Plus, you can even use the Wavelink software with any microphone to control multiple audio channels. Plus, you can easily add these channels in OBS to record multi-track videos like I showed you earlier. It also has 4 infinite scroll dials to allow you to control all of these audio channels when you're live. So if you want to speed up your production, then check out the Stream Deck Plus using the link down below in the description. Now, if you're only capturing gameplay and no face cam, it might be worth checking out the SteelSeries GG app and its Moments feature. It's a really cool tool that lets you capture clips based on specific events, like winning a game or getting multiple eliminations. Plus, it even has multi-track audio. All you have to do is set the quality and time to your desired settings, and then every time you make an epic play, it'll be saved. Okay, now that we've got our setup ready, it's time to jump into our games and start capturing content. Remember, the focus of these sessions is to capture footage of me using Mozambiques to win a game of Apex. So we are going in with that intention in mind. And don't forget, you can do this while you're live streaming too. In fact, the natural reactions to getting eliminations and winning or losing will add extra emotion and value to your story. And remember what we talked about earlier about proactive and reactive content creation? Both approaches can work really well on their own, but the real magic happens when you use them together. While you're capturing content and playing games, focus on the moments that will make good story points within your video. Think about the things you're going to do or say, or how you're going to react to certain moments. But it's also important to not let the idea control the natural narrative of what you're doing. Let me give you an example. While I was capturing footage from my second game, I almost won. This made me think, maybe I need a more challenging idea. I'm actually doing it, chat. As I got to the final 3 squads, tensions began to rise. Would I actually win this game, or would I have to start from scratch? And as it turns out, oh no! I didn't win. Now, most creators might look at this as a failure. I didn't win the game, so therefore I'm not going to put it in the video. But in fact, this is the perfect moment to create an even better story by focusing on something called the all is lost moment.
The all is lost moment is the moment where the character has to make the decision. Do I stay down or do I get back up again? It's the moment where it looks like it's least likely that your character is going to be able to achieve their goal. You as a gamer can utilize this moment. You can have a moment within your story when it really doesn't look like you're going to make it.
It's a moment of defeat or despair, and it's often followed by a moment of comeback or resolution. By leveraging this moment, we can add even more tension and emotion to the story. So, with that in mind, it was time for me to look for my own comeback or resolution. I started recording more games, but this time with a shift in focus. I wanted to show more games where I got eliminated. I wanted to create a much more stressful situation to show that luck had turned against me and made the games much more difficult. And realizing that the only way that I could really complete this challenge is by working with a team. So I reached out to my friends Boom and Candy to see if they would be down to help. To my surprise, they also decided to take part in the challenge, which was something that I hadn't considered but decided to lean into when crafting the story. I even made sure to mention this before our first game together, knowing that I could use it in the edit later on.
So the stakes are ramping up now. We need 6 Mozambiques rather than just 2 for me.
Yeah,
so this is going to make it even more difficult to do.
Being intentional with the story that you're making and then being able to pivot and react to different situations will allow you to make a better video. It's all about finding ways to make the most out of any situation and then turning that into a compelling story for your audience. After reviewing our footage, it's time to start building the outline of our story in the edit. We can do this by identifying our key story beats, like the beginning, middle, and end, and editing those first to create a framework. From there, we can work inwards or outwards to flesh out the rest of the video. For example, I'm going to focus on the all is lost moment first, and then build the story around that point. Once I have a rough edit, I can then add layers to the story by recording adding additional content. This is where adding a voiceover or a piece of camera can really bring your story to life. By doing this, you can bridge the gaps in your story, frame it the way that you want, and add your own emotional perspective. And remember what Alan said earlier?
The more you want to connect to your audience, the more important the use of emotion is. It comes back to this investing in the character, showing people situations that they can relate to. That's how you can create emotion in your videos.
When you're recording your voiceover, think about how you felt during the experience, what kind of things were running through your mind, and what you want your audience to understand about your thought process, or to even exaggerate moments for comedic or dramatic effect. For example, look at the difference between these two edits with the addition of a voiceover.
Jesus. Yeah, that guy destroyed me. Jesus. Yeah, that guy destroyed me.
With Boom and Candy down, the odds seemed to be against me. My friends were dead and my health was low, but the fight wasn't over yet. Summoning all of my many hours of experience in Apex, I clutched up and secured the... Never mind. I died. This is a great way to connect with your audience and to make your story more relatable and engaging. Now, one way we can improve the story is by introducing threads or themes that can be woven throughout the video. For example, in our games with Candy and Boom, we ran into a real problem with shotgun ammo.
There's no shotgun. There's no shotgun.
There's no shotgun ammo? Are you serious? This issue then becomes a thread that we can follow and refer back to throughout the video. And Candy conveniently set this line.
I think ammo would be a serious issue if we're all using Mozam.
By strategically placing Candy's line about the ammo in an earlier moment, we can create a sense of continuity and build tension within the story. Now, this is very similar to a storytelling technique called Chekhov's gun.
So the way Chekhov's gun works is that if you see a loaded gun in the early stages of a story, that gun at some point is going to have to go off. Otherwise, we as the audience are not going to be satisfied. And so the way that that can relate to telling stories in general is if you lay a clue or a hint to something, you are going to have to bring it back later on. You make a promise, you have to then give the payoff.
By adding threads like this in your videos, you can add depth and complexity to your story and keep your audience engaged. It's important to pay attention to these small details as you edit, as they can help make your video more memorable for your audience. Another way to add depth and complexity to your story is through creative editing. And this video can help you do that by giving you some more editing tricks to help boost your gaming videos. So go ahead and check that video out next, and until next time, take care.